All right, y'all. Jason Davis Jazz, JD Jazz, DallasJazzCollective.com. Please go to my website. You can get one of these beautiful t-shirts. Please go to my website. Holler at me, Jason Davis Jazz, South Dallas Jason. How's everybody doing? This is episode 1. I don't know what I owe this pleasure of YouTube allowing me to go live all of a sudden. Uh, but I'm happy I can go live on YouTube. I just said I'd give it a shot, and here we are. On such a sea are we now afloat. Right here, I want to start off with a couple of things that I want to shoot out to you that I think will be helpful because I know we're in the middle of some things here, and I don't take that for granted. But I'll say this as I'm getting it all together for you. South Dallas Jason, Bastards of Soul, Bastard number 7, you know what time it is, Dallas Jazz Collective, South Dallas Mayor, the Nightmare, same dude, is that the same dude? Same dude, It's a long website, but the DallasJazzCollective.com. I really would appreciate it if you would go there and you make some purchases. Got a lot of stuff up there. I probably have things that some of these other websites won't have. I have sheet music. I got big band charts. I got method books. So if you're homeschooling your kids with music and you want to get them out of those same old little ditty songs, you come over here to my website, buy some music. I've had people that do not read music at all get my book and learn to read music from my book because the stuff I'm playing on there is stuff that people play every day. It's so it's showing them how it looks with music and notation. And they, guys have just, improved their reading just from knowing what certain inflections that they do, how that's interpreted in a musical language of notation. So these next couple of products that I'm going to tell you about, I do not endorse these products, but I'm telling you, these are some things that have been helpful for me, and I want to tell you to make sure you get. It's 4 products. Here's the first one. We're gonna do some music. It's a storytelling and music, but anyway, this is some hemp shea butter. Oh, I can't know if I can. Oh, there it is. Some hemp shea butter. Some hemp shea butter. Blistex lip balm. This is about hydrating your mouth, hydrating your lips. You got hydrated. This will get it done. I'm sure shea butter itself will do it. Speaking of shea butter, there's a company here, and this is a real sorry about that, y'all. This is a shout out to this company. You can see the website right there. This is some good stuff, y'all. I wish we had smell-o-vision, right? You better smell it. Oh my God, it's beautiful. That's one of the ones that she has in there called Uniqua Skincare. Uniqua, I'm talking about Uniqua Skincare. That's gonna go down in the books, right? So you see their website, UniquaSkincare.com. This stuff is amazing. Woo! I'm gonna use a little bit right here live on camera. Because jazz sponsorship, right? You know what I'm talking about? Everybody talking about your hands, all that stuff. Don't you feel fresh now? That's 2 products. Like I said, I don't endorse these products, but I'm telling you, I just want you to be good, This one. Menthol, cough suppressant, lozenges. I'm not encouraging, I'm not no doctor, I'm not saying go do this and all that kind of stuff. I'm just telling you, I'll show you what I'm on. Witch hazel, right? And this is my disclaimer, I don't endorse these products. I don't know the people, like this lady right here, I'm sure I met her. But just give me a couple of tips as we get started because we know we are got a big situation going on, with everything that's going on in the world presently. You know, I don't like to call stuff. We all know what's going on, man. So, got a couple of minutes here. Got a live going. Jason Davis Jazz. Everybody's doing their little at-home concerts, but I want to take a little time to talk to you about some things that I think will help you. Aloe vera juice. Aloe vera juice every morning. Garlic, lemons. All that stuff. I think we should be on that stuff. First thing in the morning. I would even say apple cider vinegar. But I just don't like the way it tastes. Anyway, apple cider vinegar, jazz, classical music. There are certain notes you can listen to every day. There's certain ways you can get to these notes. It's all this kind of stuff. And that's what this show is about. You're gonna get it. But before we move on to the music, I don't have sponsors and all that stuff yet because it's like my first little episode and I'm doing a test on my microphone. So if you cannot hear me, I want to make sure that we can talk about you hearing me better. But we'll kick a shout out. That's a CD of one of the local artists in Dallas, making a name for herself, Mahogany. That's somebody I think you should go check out. Mahogany the artist. Check her out. All right? D. Marie. These are all people who have put their CD on consignment at Jazz because they've already shown an interest and wanting to work together with us as local artists trying to do things for our city by selling their products here. Buddy Muhammad. These are CDs that I say you should go buy because these people have already shown that they're about solutions. Like, man, we'll throw you 5 CDs over there. So why wouldn't I shout them out on my live right now? Yeah, you're gonna get shouted out on the live, right? Skinny Cooks, another bad band out of Dallas. Hey, Skinny Cooks, shout out to Bree. What's up, Bree? It's one of our main supporters, Kinfolk, right here. This is Joe, the 18. Fabulous trumpet player. I heard him play live here at Jazz because he came here and played his trumpet. What's up, Joe? Man, I didn't really get to holler at you like I wanted to. This is the only CD I have by this gentleman, but his name is Keith Price. Guy I did some music with. He and Jamil Byram got some music out. I would say go buy that. Keith Epic 7 Price. Shout out to Keith, man. What's up, man? What you got on the pit? And my good friends, Tom Gilchrist right here. We've done a lot of music together, man. Right? Tom Gilchrist, vocalist. Another guy who's dug deep into working with us here at Jazz because Bobby Falk. I'm showing you these CDs so that you'll know. These are musicians that are out here doing it, that are helping other musicians, that are working with other musicians, showing up, inviting people, doing their thing. And likewise, what we want to do is as this video plays, we want you to know who comes through that door and work with us. We're going to work with you, right? We're just going to keep it real time, we got to get down to what some people call point blank period. No formalities. Musicians are at home. All these musicians that you've seen, support them. Tom Brownlee, one of our biggest supporters, right? Right? Find these people online, search for them. Do the work, Let's get their music. Let's keep buying. Let's support these artists. We 10 minutes in. Last but not least, we got a book here. See, man, I made a whole book, real page and everything. Binding, real solid. Murder by the Collar, It's T.J. Miller, right? And I would say Mr. T.J. Miller is a music legend. You know, he gives people their props all the time, but this man is a music legend, right? When we look at people that get stuff done in the music business. So once again, Jason Davis Jazz, JD Jazz, you want one of these cool t-shirts, go to my website, Dallas Jazz Collective. It's right here. We're getting the formalities out the way. I believe this is called How I Met Jazz. So How I Met Jazz is a lot of talking, but it's a lot of playing. It's going into some things about How I Met Jazz. So let me make sure my mic is positioned right, and we're gonna get right into it. So we want to gently turn this up, which we turn them up. Distribute the weight. I think we good. Might be time for a new mic stand. But all right. So on the saxophone. How I Met Jazz #1. The video live series. I remember hearing Sam Cooke Chain Gang song in 3rd grade. There were record players and there were records. And there were teachers there that really loved the old music. Because you imagine in the 80s, when I was in, say, roughly 3rd grade, you're talking about possibly 82. And in 1982, the music was definitely, taking a turn. And so I believe that music has taken a turn, as of now with, I think it's been like that since about 2017. I've been feeling that the distribution of equality, when you look at what an independent artist can afford to do, as opposed to what an independent artist can afford to do while being watched by the major labels that already have people that are vowing for the money in different markets, independent artists have opened up new markets that the major labels can, by 2017, I'm not talking about currently, I'm just speaking in retrospect, that the major labels can come in and say, okay, well, we got some similar, artists that we got signed that are actually under the same, kind of guise of, what the independent guys are doing. And then the artists actually create the relationship where the artists start to say, oh man, what's the name is in town the same time that I'm in town. So it's like, it appears to be coincidental, but we're sure that, marketing people got it figured out. Well, these artists are similar, Da is going to be in town. And so it'd be cool for you to go over there and make an appearance. So the world of perpetuation became a twofold thing that was kind of like, it could work for you or it could not work for you, where it's kind of like being a great cook that goes to a party where the food sucks. And you got to be cool with eating the same food because you're in a room with 200 some people, everybody's eating the food, but you kind of like, oh, I put salt on it, I put pepper on it, I put some butter on it, and it still sucked, right? So it's kind of like that kind of ball game um, around 2017. So what I began to do is I began to look at what does it mean to be ahead of the curve. Well, it's all ownership and it's all preparation. It's a combination of both. Um, People can say it's patience and it's foresight, but I think more than anything, it's preparation and ownership. And so, recording is a way to create some sort of sound real estate, some sort of way to say that, hey, I was there, I put my stake in the ground, this is what we did. Um, and I don't think it's necessarily about the I don't think it's necessarily about the amount of records that you sell or how much money you spent on the session or even how vernacular you can pretend to be or assume to be. I think it's about one thing, maybe two, three. I think it's about meaning it, saying something, and having your own sound. Those three things are what make the greats unique to me. Um, Whenever I met anybody great from Maceo Parker to James Moody, Stanley Turrentine, David Fathead Newman, um, Kenny Garrett, anytime I ever met any one of these guys, they all share those qualities where they're saying something, they mean it, you know, and they got their own sound. That could well be the play to make. So when you look at where we are at the turning point in music now, it's very different than 1982 when I first started being at a point where my brain could remember that this is this kind of music, that's kind of this that kind of music. I think if nobody would ever have told me that this is that kind of music and this is that kind of music, I probably would have been 9 years ahead of myself. But somewhere around 95, I made everything one thing, period. Really, somewhere around about 94, going into 95 was a turning point where I just began to look at, you know, your soul in the music, your intent in the music and your value in the music by being in it and being out of it. So all of that. All right. So just a little original improvisation thing there. Trying to circle around that 285 frequency. You know, steadily taking you back to that on the piano, C sharp, right above middle C. And it's a balance of tones that keep you right. So, how I met jazz, Jason Davis Jazz, Dallas Jazz Collective, um, storytelling and music. Shouting out to the people that have already uh, been been a real blessing, you know, to me and my family, and also just some items and things that I don't, I don't officially endorse. And if they come along and say, "Hey man, take it off your video," I'll take it off my video. But I think they're, in these times, man, we gotta anything that's helping somebody, I think we gotta try to put it out there. Of course, drink a lot of water. But you know, if something worked for me, I'm gonna let you know it worked for me. Some work for you. You put out a video, let me know what worked for you. You know what I'm saying? Um, but sound, It's one of those main things that not just listening to the music that people putting out, but really knowing that this music needs to be, helping you to heal yourself in your own space. Because now you're confined to a space. So you're in the rooms where everybody wants to listen to different music, so everybody's got on headphones. But I think that hopefully what I do with these live broadcasts here coming up is allow for the sound to be beneficial to everybody involved within a setting. And I think that's what musicians were originally designed to be doing. Not just playing wallpaper music or not just playing behind, in a pit, but also being something that is therapeutic and is what my what my teachers would say, which will soothe the savage beast within. You know, Listening to jazz 15 minutes a day, yeah, I think it's a beautiful thing. I think it's a good time for non-jazz lovers to discover the beauty of jazz and how it makes you feel. Not from what I'm doing, but from jazz, or what we would call Black American music, or what we call American, you know, American classical music, or the music that probably was already here, you know, from ancient times. That is a vibe that you get on when you get here. No matter who you are, where you come from, it's a feeling, So, and it's a lot. It has a lot to do with the rhythms, and a lot of places where I've learned coming up through learning jazz. When people are implementing new rhythms into the music, it's fit just fine. You know, no matter what those rhythms were, from the tablas of on the corner to you know everything that Coltrane was doing, Elvin Jones, Dizzy Gillespie had done with certain Cuban rhythms, as well as guys coming from Cuba to play the authentic versions of their stuff with you know with the big band format as a backdrop, where we're not gonna do it little, we're gonna do it for real. We're gonna do it. Let's do it big. Um, and with television, you know, with how Desi Arnaz like totally innovated television with what he wanted as far as a three-camera shoot. You know, I'm doing a one-camera shoot, but if I had two other laptops, or I do got another camera, I guess I could set up, but having that three-camera pan, that's what every not every, but most sitcoms have used since that format. So um, music has been a big part of every kind of facet of what we look at today as being precious. So I hope this is a time for people to really listen to jazz music. That's what it's called. The guys that taught me, they didn't really call it like anything. The older guys that taught me what we call jazz, they would tell me that it's called nothing. I say, well, what is it called? And a lot of musicians have a lot going on with hashtags on Instagram calling it BAM, Black American Music. But the guys that brought me up, they told me that it was called nothing. They said it's not called anything, and they taught me the value of not cloning other players, not mimicking other players, and not having gimmicks. But really having having a voice and spending your time to find that voice. And so I believe I know where my voice is on the instrument. I can play a little bit. I think is what my desire is musically. So, yeah, a lot of people ask me, man, if you just did a whole record of what you really want to play, what would it be? And it would just be concept after concept. It probably would not have a sections. It'd just be more like concept after concept, and if it was a group thing with other people, it would just be more like about the moment and what's going on, and a lot less about what you practice on that day, or if you're still in that auditioning stage where you're trying to show the musicians that you can play, or even what you're trying to portray to your friends or the audience. And I think what does that for me, and what's always done that for me, is learning how to sound bad when I'm practicing, so that I know what bad sounds like. So I'm not afraid to go places because I know what it sounds like bad. I know, oh, that didn't work. So instead of going, shh, oh man, but really just making it all work. I remember I was at some gig, I had to be about 21, 22 years old, and maybe 25, you know. I just remember when I started beating myself up about messing up and squeaking and playing wrong fingerings and trying weird stuff. I just remember laughing and going, oh, you know, and just, hey, next time, I just remember that joy. It never made me connect with the audience in a way where it made me and the audience feel like that something wasn't happening, you know? And I think too many artists and performers connect with the audience in a negative way. When the audience is not trying to connect with you in a negative way, only if you present that will they connect with you like that. But like I played a festival last year and the microphone didn't work, and then the guy brought me a microphone and it did something different. And I got a big sound. I got a huge sound. I wouldn't worry about a microphone in the first place, you know. And so I think that's really more of what it is. It's like when things that have functionality become part of the presentation and it's gimmicky. Like, oh, he don't have the little mic to clip on the end. He must not be as good as this guy. That kind of stuff, you know. It's like, nah, man. It's like, you know, some guys they don't want that on their horn. Some guys do. I don't mind. I don't care. You know, either way it go. There's something that can come out of both of them, but when it's not there, there's something real cool about pretending to be a vocalist. I mean, you don't see vocalists with like microphones attached to their lip, like it's attached right there, just so it can pick up everything coming out your mouth. So I don't have a problem with clip-on mics, but it's the same thing. If the mic is not attached to your lip, then you're gonna be able to do certain things with mic proximity and moving the horn, or you know, like a vocalist can do by what they say, working the mic. You know, I'm one of them saxophone players that I play in bands that are loud, so I know how to position my mic and work it. Where I'm still getting me, but not picking up what the bass drum is doing. By blocking that frequency. So all that stuff makes a lot of sense and is important. So Met Jazz, first jazz band I was in, this is good, was in ninth grade. I was more of a classical clarinet player. And so I didn't get into jazz. I didn't get an opportunity to be in a jazz band because I wasn't one of the saxophone players that was killing it. These guys were already killing it. They already were saxophone players, and they already knew what was going on with jazz. And it's a lot of unknown great musicians that came through Dallas, different parts of Dallas, Lancaster, DeSoto, Pleasant Grove, Mesquite, Garland, South Dallas, and Oak Cliff, North Dallas, Fort Worth, of course, Fort Worth, and surrounding areas, Weatherford, a lot of great musicians that, we never heard that end up, being, jazz fans, ministers, all kind of different professions. So it's a blessing to be able to play music, and I think that's what everybody's understanding now is that, you're on some gig and you take it for granted that you're gonna be able to eat. And it's like now everybody is like, looking toward social media and social networks and all these things. Um, in a real sense, um, I think we're needing to go in another direction. And it's that musicians need to, understand that we have a responsibility to actually fix the problem with our music. You know, you look at the great musicians um, of the, let's say, ones that I could talk about, from how old I am, the great musicians of the 1940s, 50s, and 60s. Um, those guys would have been coming together to create some sounds that would instantly knock any kind of crap out of your body. And so I think like those guys, you know, and I think that the music that they were putting down is already that type of music. So I believe we have a responsibility to do something else with, not just with music, not just with genres and styles and awards and TV shows and record labels, but with sound itself, you know. And so I'm holding a very well-tuned instrument. This is a Yamaha instrument. You know, the Yamaha has the tuning forks are the logo, and it's a very beautiful horn to play. It's durable. It has a feel that I like. You know, me being a clarinet player playing saxophone, um, it just feels good. And I'm kind of like not feeling like it's like some vintage horn that I need to, you know. Oh, don't let it hit that, or you know. It's a great horn, great mouthpiece. Shout out to my mouthpiece company that I endorse, Theo One Mouthpieces. Very great people, and they take care of me. They give me what I need. You know, they give me what I need when I need it, and I appreciate that. Um, which I don't need a lot because these mouthpieces are built to last. You get one, and it rolls with you. Um, I've upgraded, you know, from the original one, but I love these mouthpieces. They are so cool. All right. How I Met Jazz. Movie coming very soon. Documentary. This is a sound check. Testing that old mic up there. I kick a shout out to the mic company. What is this? Sterling microphone. Appreciate you. Thank you. Jason Davis Jazz, Dallas Jazz Collective. Holla at me.